So over the weekend, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hit back against Republican Governor Mike Huckabee. Now, this comes after, of course, Huckabee tried and failed to troll the incoming congresswoman as loony, based on a quote from a speech during a press conference hosted by the Sunshine Movement. Now, that's a group, of course, that is not exactly pro-climate change, but it's, hey, climate change is happening, and maybe we should actually do something about this. Now, I want to give you that quote from the speech the Daily Mail had taken out, and that Huckabee used to try to go after AOC. Now, she said, quote, we've done what we thought was impossible. We went to the moon, we electrified the nation, we established civil rights, we enfranchised the country, we dig deep, and we did it. We did it when no one else thought that we could. That's what we did when so many of us won an election this year. So it seems like she's drawing a comparison between, the moon landing and the civil rights and stuff, and her winning election. Now, of course, smarmy Mike Huckabee, he's like, moon landing, how dare you make a comparison? Which is funny because this is a guy who believes in creationism, which is so deeply anti-science. And so, not a very science-oriented guy, and it turns out you kind of needed to have science to get to the moon. But anyway, he said, quote, Ocasio-Cortez compares her election to moon landing, huh? Big difference. Moon landing was lunar, not loony. Moon landing done by people who knew what they were doing. Not those who elected someone who thought there were 3 branches of government did not. It is funny how he's like, look at these intellectuals. They actually know what they're doing. But yet you think you're smarter than intellectuals. And besides, look at who the president of the United States is. You want to talk about intellectuals? Come on. Now, of course, most Democrats, when they get criticized by, somebody like Mike Huckabee or even someone else or Fox News, they're like, oh my God, we just got criticized by Fox News. We need to take it back, take it back, take it back. Republicans, you are right. You are always right, Republicans. We are so, so sorry. But that's not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. No, she delivered this blistering burn while providing, of course, some much-needed context. She said, quote, a Green New Deal will take a level of ambition plus innovation on the scale of the moon landing. And ultimately, that's what she's pushing, and it's actually gaining a lot of traction among Democrats, which is great because a Green New Deal would basically take us to 100% renewable, carbon-free economy. That is what is desperately needed in this country right now if we're going to stave off the worst of climate change. We have 12 years, folks. We have 12 years before climate change gets worse and completely irreversible. We got to do something. We got to do something fast. And you need something that is bold. And a Green New Deal is just that. Now, that said, here's her tweet. She said, we've been done it before and can do it again. And apparently that's her New York coming out, right? And she says, and this is fun, leave the false statements to Sarah Huckabee. She's much better at it. Also, you haven't been a governor of any state for 10 plus years now. Sit down, Huck. Sit down, dude. Ouch. Hey, Mike, you need some water for that burn? It looks serious, man. It looks serious. So here's what I love about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She actually fights back. Liberals for years have been the punching bag for conservatives. They're used to cowering down whenever they're criticized by the right wing. It's because probably later on they want to be funded by the same corporations that fund the right wing. But not progressives. No, progressives, actually, we hit back. And they don't know how to handle it. They're so used to the weak-kneed liberal that cowers at the mention of criticism, right? Now, the other thing is, look at how scared they are of a freshman incoming representative. This is somebody who's not even in Congress yet. And immediately, they're so scared. She's been attacked by so many high-profile conservatives. And they are watching creepily her every move. Fox News themselves have dedicated segments to sections where she has misspoken and has highlighted her policy as like, oh my God, look at this policy. It's so scary. Actually, you know, that's kind of backfired because AOC on Twitter, she's like, shares Fox News graphics and says, hey, thanks for the free advertising, Fox. It turns out these policies are incredibly popular with the American people. Over 70% of Americans want Medicare for all. 85% of Democrats, 52% of Republicans. That is a majority. They're like, oh, yeah, it turns out that whole idea of single-payer healthcare, wow, that's really popular. Medicare, oh, we love Medicare. We're going to expand it. Great, wonderful. She's not running away from the socialist label like every other Democrat seems to do. And, of course, conservatives, they're losing their minds over it. It's awesome. It's kind of funny, you know, she complains about housing all the time, right? Especially in Washington, she can't find an apartment or whatever. But you know what? She shouldn't complain because right now she's living rent-free in the heads of conservatives. Hey, you know what? That's how you know you're doing this whole thing right. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.